Hello and welcome here again live to the World Crypto Network. We are back in my hometown, as you can see with the hammock behind me, and I've slept now the first night here, so I'm fully back energized. That is fantastic. Guys, I just wanted to talk to you for one more time regarding the amazing Hayek Summer Workshop at the university in Leipzig, which I attended here on Thursday and Friday. And there were a couple videos here on the World Crypto Network, and I thought, why not just, briefly go back through them and see, what these videos were, and just a little recap on what we talked about here at this fantastic summer workshop. So let me just pull this up right here, because I really have to say that it was a fantastic workshop and setting that we had here at the Hayek Summer Workshop. Really, thank you so much for, of course, again, the sponsor, the Friedrich von Hayek Gesellschaft, which you can find at hayek.de, the German website. A bunch of good stuff in here on German, so maybe for you American guys, you English-speaking guys, not too useful, but hey, it's something, right? Yes, I also want to thank very much so. Let's start with Andreas Hoffman, who has organized this entire event. That is fantastic. Professor Schnabel, who is the decan, maybe you could say, of this department for economics at the Leipzig University. Here, Professor Schnabel, he actually had two videos here of his live lectures. So one was here on imbalances in economic crises, which was a fantastic video lecture. Oh no, commercials! Oh, horrible! I thought I had an ad blocker on here, but oh, what can you do? So let's see. Like it was really fantastic. Getting to hear this lecture, and of course you did as well. That is really nice, and I thank you here for supporting that. And then there was a second episode, the actually last lecture of the entire week, which was then on political instability. And that was really interesting on his take on how economic and financial policies can lead to political instabilities, and what the ultimate cause of all these regulations and interventions are. And that was a fantastic set of two lectures that I highly recommend you guys go back and check out. Really high quality stuff. So absolutely. Then we had, let's just go back to the top here, Professor Duarte, who, fantastic guy. And I really enjoyed his lecture that he was kind enough to allow us to stream as well right here, which was a lot of fun. And this one was on monetary policy and inequality. So the cool was here especially to see how the current system of rules and regulations might actually lead to an increase in inequality, although of course this is not the stated goal by the interventionists. Also there were a couple questions in the chat here, and we talked about them at the end in the Q&A section about the inequality in Bitcoin, and how these early adopters, because they had such an early step up on all the others, they could acquire a lot of Bitcoin at a low purchasing power, and of course now Bitcoin has a high purchasing power. And we talked about this inequality and how it is fundamentally different from the inequality that is created by a fiat and government-owned monetary system. There were also a couple lectures by Andreas Fink, who unfortunately we did not stream, but he was talking about, let me see, it was up there. Yes, about government failures, which is of course quite interesting, and interest group behavior and lobbying, and especially how these two things work together. So how do lobbyists, how do interest groups affect the government, and does this ultimately lead to government failure? Which of course happens quite often. And he defines government failure as any time that the government interfering in the marketplace leads to a less desirable outcome than voluntary interaction on the free market. So that was, again, a great lecture, and thank you for Professor Fink here for providing these. And then we had a really brief talk during one of the lunches by Christian Hoffman, and that was actually a fantastic lunch and talk here on political polarization in the digital age. So how maybe social media and this bubble, the bubble creation on Twitter, how this might cause political polarization, or maybe if political polarization was already there and now it's just being expressed adequately in the digital age. Fantastic. I also talked to Christian Hoffman about Bitcoin in that sense, because of course Bitcoin Twitter is strong, and the Bitcoin Reddit wave and Bitcoin Stack Exchange. There are many forums and digital forums on where the Bitcoin policy is being made, but I don't even think that you can call it policy, but it is governance, right? So we get together on social media like Twitter, like Reddit, to coordinate on what this Schelling point called Bitcoin is. So that was fantastic to see his take that was more applied to the classical political realm, and then adapted to the realm of Bitcoin and this new money system. So I really thoroughly enjoyed that. Then what we also have was two discussions with students. And here we have Ramon. He is a fantastic guy. And he lives in Venezuela. And here he talks in 21 minutes. Amazing about the, well, unfortunately sad economic warfare in Venezuela. But he is a passionate and quite smart young student who knows not just the history, but also the politics and the monetary policies and effects that are occurring in the state of economic warfare in Venezuela. And I did enjoy talking to Ramon, not just here in these 21 minutes, but actually for hours and hours. Guys, to be honest, I've talked to many people about Bitcoin. Ramon might be the one that picked up what Bitcoin is and why it is useful the fastest. It was crazy how what types of questions he asked, and more importantly, that he quite soon then answered these questions himself. Before then, it is amazing talking to people who are educated in economics and in politics, and of course who have experienced economic warfare in their home country, and seeing them on how they think about Bitcoin. So that was fantastic. And then we also had a brief 15-minute discussion with Juan Esteves about the Students for Liberty organization, which is a group of students who get together to talk about economics, liberty, politics, and whatsoever. And it's a local organization that is global in local departments, and he is here working a lot with the Students for Liberty in Freiburg. If you want to be more active in this realm of liberty and politics, and you are a student, this might be a nice network where you might find interesting people to have nice and thought-provoking discussions. So again, I want to thank you, the sponsors, the professors, the organizers, and of course the students for attending this fabulous conference. And I am thoroughly hoping that there will be a second one next year, maybe hopefully even sooner. And I do hope that I will have the time to join there. That would be fantastic. So maybe to sum up, what have I learned in these 2 days? Well, quite a lot. It was interesting to see a more, let's say, a Austrian analysis or comparison of the current economic policies, especially in the Eurozone. That was interesting because that's something that I have not done too much research on. For example, the true effects on the zero interest rate policy and what that actually means, and what this further creates. So that was something that I really enjoy going more into depth, especially because these lectures were really in depth. This was not a beginner's conference. It was not an introductory course. So that's why I appreciate you guys sticking in the videos here and getting educated about that. Because of course, it is accessible. You can actually go and watch it. But it was just a lot of fun. And I especially enjoyed the many late night conversations with these students. They are just like you and me, people who are interested in liberty, and that is a really broad subject. And talking to them about anything and everything is really interesting. Of course, I was chilling Bitcoin hard, as I always do. So, explaining them why Bitcoin is so important and why it is such a beautiful monetary system, and then answering the questions that they have, and helping these students to maybe get a better grasp on what Bitcoin actually is. That is always a lot of fun, and I always enjoy doing that quite a bit. And I will continue doing that on the next conferences as well. So this was just a little summary, just again for me to say thank you to all those people involved. Thank you for all the pleasant conversations. Thanks to you for hanging in there and watching these lectures and these discussions. And I am quite sure that there will be a couple more conferences that I will be going to. Of course, the next one that I will be attending, let me share my screen here, is the Baltic Honey Badger Conference in Riga, Latvia, which will be in only a couple weeks. Wow, amazing. On the September 22nd till 23rd. Of course, if you don't know the Baltic Honey Badger Conference, it is the Bitcoin conference with amazing speakers. And this is not a blockchain conference. This is not a ICO shilling conference. This is about Bitcoin. This is about what really matters, about sound money and freedom that we will bring to this world with this amazing currency system. So I'm really looking forward to being there, to talking to all these people, to listening to all these lectures, and to providing you with the most quality content that we can. Ricardo from Rico Coin Report in Paris will be there as well, and we will do a bunch of shows for the World Crypto Network, talking to the attendees, talking to the lecturers, and let's see what else we can do with this here. And so I'm really looking forward to this. This will be one of the next events, and same procedure as previously with the Mises University and of course the Hayek Summer Workshop just now, providing you the content that you deserve if you do not. If you did not get your ticket and if you did not get a chance to be there in Riga. So that's the beautiful thing with the internet, right? We can share information openly and freely. I love that. So guys, thank you very much for joining me here again for this really quick video. Just to finish it up, the Hayek Summer Workshop, I highly suggest that you go back, listen to these lectures, maybe read some of the material that these professors have put out, because it was quite a few good content that they've done so far. And hopefully we'll see each other either next year at the Hayek Summer Workshop, or even better, sooner, on the Baltic Money Badger Conference in Riga, Latvia. That is going to be amazing. So thank you guys for joining me again here, and see you on the next one.